Don't make these 5 mistakes when buying a home. Why you should get pre-approved when you're going out looking for a home. There's numbers of reasons to do that. Because if you're getting ready to write that offer, then you don't have that approval letter, you're going to have a much stronger offer and a 99% chance of getting that house, because everything's pretty much flying off the shelf in the market these days, that you're going to be in a much stronger position when negotiating. If you don't have a pre-approval letter as a listing agent in this market, we put your offer aside. So if you have not even a pre-qualification, but a pre-approval letter, means you've submitted to the lender, you've submitted all your docs, so they're ready to go once they get that contract in hand. You're gonna be a much stronger buyer, much stronger position. Knowing how much you can afford is why you want to get pre-approved before you go in the house buying process. And there's a lot of things you have to look at with that as well. Are there HOA fees included in the purchase or in that sales price or approval amount? Are there the taxes? What gauge of taxes are they using for the sales price they're approving me for? What are the, what's the insurance rating that we're looking for as well? We recently just bought a house and realized we need to get flood insurance. That can add $50 a month to $300 a month to our payment. I might not be able to qualify on an additional $300 a month because of flood insurance. It means I'm either maxing out my approval, or that just wasn't something we had budgeted in. And I might not feel comfortable with the additional $300 a month that I'd have to put out for flood insurance, or whatever that is, HOA fees or additional things that are there. Why shouldn't people buy a home that they can't afford? There's many reasons to that. Number one is you don't want to be over leveraged. You want to be comfortable in your payment, because if something happens, you want to know that you can still make your payment. Something happens, husband and wife, one of them loses the job, etc. Number two, if you had to get a cosigner and they came in and co-signed because you're off debt by $500 or something, well, what happens if you do lose your job? Now you're way over budget. You're relying on your parent, your grandparent, or somebody else to come in and help. Most likely they don't want to help. It's another person on title that you don't want to have to worry about. And if, for example, the cosigner happens to pass away or something happens to them, that's another clout on your title. If you want to refinance them to get them off of title, then all of a sudden the rates are higher and then you're going to end up with a higher payment, which you try to avoid in the beginning of bringing in the cosigner. And then putting all your eggs in one basket with all your savings that are out there, you want to make sure you have comfortability left over. One, you've got closing costs that you got to pay for, so it's not just 10 or 20% down. It's going to be 10% plus closing costs, 20% plus closing costs. And those closing costs usually run between 3 and 4% of what the sales price is. So figure your $400,000 house, you're putting 40 grand down, you got another 10 or 12,000 that's going to go towards the closing. And little things that come up after you move in, how water heater breaks, you got a $1,000 repair there. We just bought a house and we just found out there's flooding coming into the house from the exterior. So now we've got another couple thousand in repairs. Things that would not have been caught on a home inspection because it's not raining during the home inspection or wasn't an issue. So just little things like that, the repairs that pop up that have to be done, and or, hey, we're in our new house, let's go buy new appliances. Let's go upgrade this paint. Let's go do this. So you want to have money left over to make your house a home. And making it a home means personalizing it, making those little upgrades there. Waiving too many contingencies with the contract can be a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is, one, if you waive the home inspection, the appraisal, and other stuff, it can help you win that opportunity for that offer to come in. But the bad parts of that are, you really want, if you're going to do those things, you really want to know that you're true on market value, you're true on the condition of the home. Is the home a newer home or older home? We just, again, bought a home, and I'm glad I didn't waive the inspections because there was things we found on there that allowed us to go back and renegotiate. And so doing that allowed us to, get 10 or 20,000 off the purchase price to take care of repairs that need to be done that the 90-year-old seller didn't even think about or care about, but come up on a home inspection. Appraisals, what if you have an appraisal that's, you're waiving those contingencies, you need to bring that additional cash to closing. So I've got 10% budgeted for a house, and what happens if the appraisal comes in 5% less than the asking price? If I've waived that contingency, now I gotta go rob Peter to pay Paul to go purchase that property. Mom, can I borrow money? I'm in my 40s. I don't want to be asking my mom for money to go buy a property. So you want to watch, things like that. Now, the true negatives of, don't just say I want to waive contingencies on a home inspection and an appraisal because I'm going to save $400 or save, $500 on an appraisal. I like to know what's going on with the market value of my house. It is paper value, but it's at least a gauge of what the market is in the property. The inspection, even if you're not going to ask for repairs, it tells you what's wrong with the house and whether you want to go forward or not. And if you are going to go forward either way, it gives you that hit list of repairs that need to be done and what are the important things that need to be done. So kind of we go back to, buying a house and putting all your eggs in one basket. What if there were things there that really needed to be taken care of and you just put all your savings in? Now you don't have the money for the new AC or the new hot water heater or things that are mechanicals that need to be replaced. So it's always good to have a contingency in there unless you've really thoroughly, had someone with you at the time of purchase looking at that property with you before you made that offer. Why you shouldn't ignore the resale value when looking at homes. There's quite a few things that come into the property when you're looking at a home. For me, I want to push and talk to you and educate you on the floor plan, the mechanicals, the upgrades that are in the house, and how's the structure look like. And an inspector's going to look at that as well, but you want to kind of do your own pre-stuff. And if it's got an old roof, you're not going to pay retail for it because you're going to have to replace that. And call a roof lasts 20 years in Florida, it's going to cost you 20 grand. Well, you just paid for the price for a new roof when you bought it. No, those things need to be adjusted in when you're looking at the property. You like the backsplashes on the property, or you like the extra kitchen that they put in. Make sure you're paying attention to what the true market is for those upgrades. You don't get 100% back on a return on an investment. You get a percentage back and gauge what the market is. Look at the comparable sales. Did those have upgraded kitchens? Did those have upgraded bathrooms? Was that lake view versus pond view versus no pool to pool? You got to take all that into account so that way when a house is truly a house or a home, but it's also an investment. So you want to buy with your head whenever you're making an investment into a property, not with your heart, because think about if you've got to sell that house in 3 to 5 years and the market just continually goes up 3% per year or whatever the gauge is, and you've overpaid by 20% on the purchase or 10% on the purchase, you're already going to be in negative equity for the next 4 years. So number 5 mistake when buying a house is not using a real estate agent or not using the right real estate agent or team. And I want to talk about that. And when you're not using a real estate agent, unless you're a true investor and you buy and sell homes every day, great. That's not the average consumer. You're also gauging your values on what's online. There's what's called the AVM, automated value metric. Every website that you have has that number on there. It'll tell you this estimate's this, or the Realtor.com's got this, and all the other websites will have their little values on there. Well, that's not the true number because they're just taking the square footage, the area square footage, and throwing a number out there. Yes, it's close, but it's not true. It doesn't know that the other houses weren't upgraded or are upgraded. Now you're getting a value on a house that's dated, but is being compared against something that's been all remodeled in 2021. So, you've got to have that education in the background there, and we're going to look at that stuff for you as professionals. As working with our real estate team, we're going to walk you through the homes and talk to you about the things that the functionality of the home, the upgrades in the home, the value of what they put in there. Is that kitchen that they put in level 1 or level 5? And if water hit those cabinets, would it explode right away because it's particle board, or is it true wood? Just small things like that actually change the value of a property. And is the roof newer? Is the AC newer? Is the hot water heater newer? Did they repipe it? What are some of the things that are going to come up on a home inspection? If you're looking at homes built in the 70s and 80s and 90s, does it have polybutylene plumbing? How do you check for that? There's a lot of other things that will pop up that we want to try and gauge you through on the initial walk. Yes, you know what a dining room is, you know what a living room is, you know what a garage is, but do you know where to find these hot water heaters and AC systems and look at the date codes and go through that stuff? And again, that's what an inspection's for, but try to look at all the things ahead of time so you know how to gauge and prepare your offer the right way. As always, if you're ever looking for strategies and want to connect with the right real estate team to help you structure your offer, to get your offer accepted and get you to the closing table for your new home, please give us a call. We're always here to help.